My cousin turned to me in the lawyer's office and screamed, "You brainwashed grandma!" I could feel everyone's eyes on me. My uncle's glare, my aunt's cold judgment, and my cousin Lori's rage fueled hate. I didn't have time to argue. I had just learned that grandma had left her entire estate to me on one condition. I had to find the sealed envelope hidden in the place where she felt most alive, and I had to do it before the sun went down. If I failed, everything would go to charity. It was already 3 o'clock. Before another word could be said, I snatched the key off the lawyer's desk and took off out the door. It was a 40-minute drive to grandma's house, and I had no idea what I was even looking for, just that it would be in the place where she had felt most alive. That could mean anywhere. My grandma had lived a very active life. I jumped in my car, noticing the sky getting darker with the storm clouds rushing in. That was going to make things much more difficult. I could already imagine Lori was following me. She always followed the scent of money. She had mocked me for years about going to community college and renting a studio apartment, all while bragging about her condo and expensive lifestyle. Now she'd do anything to make sure that I didn't pull this off. By the time I reached grandma's old farmhouse, the storm was picking up and the wind was blowing hard enough to make the screen door rattle. The place looked exactly as she'd left it, quiet and smelling faintly of homemade bread and her lilac perfume. I ran inside, asking out loud as if she could still hear me, "Where did you feel most alive, Grandma?" I began to frantically search everywhere. Her favorite armchair, the kitchen cabinets and drawers, even under a loose floorboard where she kept her secret candy stash. I started to freak out as the clock on the wall ticked, reminding me that my time was quickly running out. Then I heard the crunch of tires outside. Lori had arrived. She stepped out of her brand new car in designer heels and clothes like she was arriving at a country club brunch instead of a muddy farmhouse yard. "You think Grandma really meant to leave everything to you?" She screeched over the sound of the wind. "You are nothing, Mark. Nothing. I don't have time for this," I said, as I pushed past her and headed toward the back garden. She tried to follow me, but her heels kept sinking into the mud. Frustrated with not being able to stop me, she screamed again, "I'm calling the lawyer and telling him that you're destroying evidence." "Of course you're going to lie to get what you want," I replied calmly. But inside, anxiety was starting to take over. What if I couldn't find the envelope? What if Lori was right and Grandma had made a mistake? I walked the garden rows where Grandma and I had spent hours tending to flowers and vegetables, where she had told me stories about her childhood and my grandpa. I was the only one who would come and spend time with her as often as possible, just because I enjoyed her company and her stories, and her apple pie. Then it hit me. Her greenhouse where she started all her plants from seeds. The place where so much life began. I sprinted toward it, slipping on the wet grass, nearly face-planting. The little glass building stood behind the apple tree, its door half off its hinge. Grandma had spent hours here. This definitely had to be the spot. I searched the shelves, under pots, behind the watering can, and that's when I saw it, a small metal box tucked beneath her gardening stool. I threw the lid open, only to find nothing but a single note that read, "To find life, follow the song," and a single bar of hand-drawn music notes. I hummed the notes to myself and immediately recognized the tune as the one that the music box played. I ran back to the house, raced up the stairs, and found the music box. I carefully lifted the lid, and inside was a sealed envelope with my name on it. I grabbed it just as Lori stormed in behind me. "Hand it over, Mark," she demanded and lunged for the letter. "You don't even know what's inside," I yelled. "It doesn't matter," she hissed. "It's mine. Grandma never would have picked you if she had been in her right mind." Before I could respond, the lawyer's voice rang from the doorway. "Everyone stop. I saw who found it," he said, giving her a harsh look. "Congratulations, Mark. You did it." For the first time in my life, Lori had nothing to say. Her face was red with rage and she crossed her arms in a huff. I handed the lawyer the envelope and he opened it right there. Inside was a single handwritten line. "Mark believed in me when no one else did. Now, I believe in him."